Hello, everybody. Hope you're all staying happy, healthy, and safe. This is me, Priyanka Neela Krishnan, and welcome to the Priyanka Neela Krishnan Show. And this is Enterprise Security, episode 30. And today's topic is Stop trying to keep attackers out. They are not breaking in anymore, they are logging in with a valid account. Let's dive in. A note before I start, everything here is my own opinion and my own read of public research. It is not the position of any employer, past or present, and nothing in it is confidential to any company I've worked for. Well, getting started, most of your security budget is built to keep attackers out: the wall, the gate, the locks. Here's the uncomfortable part: the attackers stop trying to climb the wall, they just log in. I am Priyanka Neela Krishnan. I am an enterprise data security product leader, author, and speaker. Some of my security books include Autonomous Data Security, Jailbreaking LLMs. I build security products, and today is about the shift that breaks the keep them out model and what to do once you accept that someone is already inside. Here is the scene. An attacker gets a valid set of credentials: the real username, the real password, a real session. They log in, the MFA is satisfied because they are using a legitimate account. Nothing breaks, nothing trips. From there, they move sideways. Account to account, system to system, reading what they want, looking exactly like a normal employee doing normal work. No alarm fires because by every rule you wrote that is basically allowed. Your defenses are built to keep attackers out. This one was never out. They walked in the front door as a user. Here's the core shift: the perimeter is gone and the attacker just logs in. For years, we built security to keep bad actors outside: firewalls, network perimeters, the whole keep them out mindset. Then identity quietly became the new perimeter, and attackers adjusted to it faster than defenders did. So they stopped trying to break in. Now they log in with credentials they bought, fished, or stole off from someone's machine. And the brutal part is that traditional controls were never designed to spot malicious behavior happening under a perfectly valid login. Let me ground this in where breaches actually come from. 90% of incident response investigations in 2025 involved an identity weakness. 9 out of 10. That is Unit 42's 2026 report. Identity is not one attack vector among many anymore. It is the main event. 65% of initial access was identity driven through phishing, stolen credentials, or brute force. The way in is the login, far more than some exotic exploit. And the supply of stolen identity is staggering. One report found 65.7 billion identity records recaptured from breaches and info stealers in 2025, up 23% in a year. The credentials to log in as your people are already out there. So, why does your existing stack miss this? 3 reasons. 1. IAM is preventive. Identity and access management controls who gets in. It is working when it stops the wrong login at the door. But it can be perfectly configured and still fail the instant a real credential gets stolen, because now the login is not wrong, it is legitimate. 2. MFA can be satisfied. Prompt bombing, SIM swaps, stolen session tokens, they all produce a login that looks legitimate. The second factor passes. And now the attacker is not an intruder. They are an authenticated user. Number 3. The activity looks normal. Once inside, the attacker reads files and moves between systems just like an employee would. There is no malware to catch, no rule being broken. The only thing that is off is the behavior, the pattern, and almost nothing in a traditional stack is watching the pattern. So here is the shift. If you assume breach, if you accept that a valid credential will eventually be compromised, the question changes. It stops being, how do I keep them out, and becomes, how fast can I catch them once they are in? Your IAM reduces the attack surface. Good. But something that has to detect the moment that surface is actually breached. That something is Identity Threat Detection and Response, ITDR. It builds a behavioral baseline for each identity and flags the anomalies. A login from a strange place, a sudden jump in privilege, lateral movement that does not fit the person's role, and critically, it responds. It does not just alert. Terminate the session, disable the account, rotate the credential before a foothold becomes a full breach. Why now? Because prevention alone already failed and the data is not subtle about it. Stolen credentials are now the top initial access vector ahead of phishing and ahead of vulnerability exploitation. And roughly 9 in 10 organizations report an identity-related breach in a given year. The login is the new way in, and it has been for a while. And the exact same shift hit machine identities. Billions of credentials and millions of API keys are circulating from breaches, which means your service accounts and your agents need the same behavioral scrutiny you would give a person, the login to. The big multi-victim breaches of the last couple of years rode in on one set of valid service account credentials and then moved laterally across everything. The break-in was never the hard part. The blindness afterward was. Well, 4 moves to actually detect identity attacks. Number 1, assume breach. Design as if a valid credential is already compromised right now. The goal stops being a perfect wall and becomes fast detection and fast response. That mindset change drives everything else. Number 2, baseline behavior. Know what normal looks like for each identity, human and not human, so that the abnormal actually stands out instead of blending into the noise. Number 3, watch after login. Monitor privilege changes and lateral movement, not just the authentication event. The attack does not happen at the login. It happens in the hour after the login succeeds. 4, respond automatically. Via detection directly to action. Kill the session, disable the account, rotate the credential in seconds. If your response lives in a ticket queue, the attacker is done before anyone opens the ticket. Here is a reframe. We spent a decade building a taller wall. The attackers stopped climbing it and started walking through the gate with a real key. You cannot keep them all out, but you can make absolutely sure you notice the moment they are in. One question for your team. If an attacker logged in as one of your employees right now with a real valid credential, what is your stack would basically notice? What is that you would get noticed in your stack? And how long would it take? If the honest answer is nothing or eventually, you know exactly where to start. And that is 30 episodes agents, sessions, data, identity, access, supply chains. Different surfaces, one foundation, which is identity, access, and data, or what everything else in security stands on. And now you can say it the way I do. This is me, Priyanka Neela Krishnan. I'm an enterprise data security product leader, author, and speaker. Some of my books include Autonomous Data Security, Jailbreaking LLMs, and Problem Pioneering. Thank you for watching all the way through. Subscribe and stay subscribed. I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.